This one's wife. No power, no glory. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. Popularity is important to the narcissist. It is important to not every narcissist, though. For instance, the highly provocative narcissist, see parts passim, relishes in engaging in shithousery for the purposes of winding people up and then feeding off their largely negative reactions. However, certain narcissists, particularly those of mid-range persuasion, want to be popular. This is because their narcissism functions by not only relishing the receipt of huge amounts of positive fuel occasioned by that popularity, but also by being seen as popular, it allows the assertion of control more readily and gives greater access to character traits and residual benefits. Accordingly, particularly with mid-range narcissists, they pursue a course of popularity. This one's wife is achingly desperate to be popular. She wants the world to love her. She wants the world to consider her as this important philanthropist, stroke political influencer, stroke lifestyle brand host, stroke actress, stroke living saint. Because then, with such popularity, the prime aims can be obtained far easier for her. She has repeatedly sought to make herself popular by the frequent release of PR puff pieces to paint a picture of her as being somebody who is eminently likable. This has cost her a significant amount of money and has largely failed. While she remains popular amongst the section of society that has become known as the sugars, many people have little interest in her, or where they do, it's because they don't like her, and they dislike her for her elder abuse of the Queen and Prince Philip, for instance, that they dislike her for her racist and antagonistic behaviours. They dislike her for her overall grifting. And thus they remain engaged, want to see her fail, and fail hard. For her, she frequently seeks to be seen as popular. Her narcissism drives her down this route. Unfortunately for her, despite spending what has probably amounted to millions of dollars and attempted to court the popularity by seeking to hang around with the A-list who have rejected her, politicians who have rejected her, and increasingly the public, many of whom have rejected her, those attempts have met with failure. This can be measured by the ridicule that she experiences in certain aspects of the mainstream media and particularly across social media. Furthermore, this lack of popularity is gauged by the infrequent polls that are produced. The Daily Beast operates something known as the Royal Power Ranking, and it's more bad news for this one's wife, since this demonstrates that Harry is somewhere around 34%, this one's wife bottoming along on 26%. That is bad news in itself, as, unsurprisingly, the only royal that is less popular than the gruesome twosome is, of course, Uncle Andy, Randy Andy Prince Andrew. Not the company that this one's wife would want to keep, albeit it's rumoured that she once was quite happy to keep his company. But to make matters worse, as a consequence of the fact that their royal power ranking is so low, the nemesis and the one that got away are riding high. Prince William's power ranking is 67%. That of Catherine, Princess of Wales, is 71%. A huge gulf between them. And of course, as explained in parts passim, recent events have demonstrated that the Waleses are enjoying unprecedented levels of popularity and excellent PR. Notwithstanding the continuing trolling of the Princess of Wales as a consequence of her absence through dealing with her cancer diagnosis, the Waleses have enjoyed some excellent publicity as of late. The response of the internet and the world to Catherine's appearance at Trooping the Colour, the event itself, and of course Prince William being seen with Taylor Swift, enjoying himself in concert, having the selfies with her, and the delightful picture that was taken by Catherine of her husband and children leaping over the sand dune, which of course, with the usual clockwork expectation and with the inevitability of envy, certain sections decided that that was a fake photograph. Tedious and irrelevant. Nevertheless, all of this is problematic for this one's wife because it reinforces that she isn't popular and she simply cannot understand why this is. It causes her to become furious because not only can she not understand why she isn't popular, she also cannot understand why the Waleses are so popular. This is one of the deficiencies of the narcissist, whereby they are unable to appreciate their lack of popularity and the popularity of other individuals because it's seen through their jaundiced lens of control. Other individuals would recognize why they've become unpopular. They would understand why they've been vilified as a consequence of certain behaviors, but not the narcissist, because of that default setting saying, it's not your fault, you didn't do anything wrong. Therefore, in the world of this one's wife, imagine what it must be like for her. I don't say this for you to pity her, but just for you to contemplate for a second what it must be like to repeatedly want to be popular and find out that you're not, that you believe that you should be, and you try to be that, but it doesn't work. Imagine the repeated frustrations and heated ignited fury that results as a consequence of her trying and trying and trying to make herself popular. In certain instances, she will look at the responses of, say, the Sugars to affirm that she's popular, but she wants more than that. She wants all of the headlines to be favourable towards her. She wants social media to back her up in its entirety. And instead, as more and more people come to the realisation of what she is and how she behaves, her unpopularity increases. She becomes like Canute, trying to command the tide to go back, and of course, like him, will be doomed to failure. Imagine what that must feel like, that despite your best attempts to convince the world that you are popular and ought to be, again and again the evidence comes forward to show that people just will not accept it. Naturally, her narcissism doesn't cause her to believe that she's the problem, everybody else is, and this is where the huge disconnect continues. Ordinarily, if you could see such a body of evidence that was telling you that you were unpopular, you might just stop and think to yourself, hang on a moment, maybe I'm the problem. That moment of realization will never be allowed for this one's wife because her narcissism simply precludes it. And thus, she remains trapped in this cycle of trying to make herself popular, but in actual fact making herself more unpopular. A tortuous place, indeed. And for those of you who do not like her behaviours, this will provide you with a degree of satisfaction in relation to how she conducts herself, in relation to what she experiences, these repeated denials of the achievement, the frustrations of not getting to that popular place, and the repeated instances of her heated, ignited fury, driven as a consequence of her continuing lack of power and glory. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for watching.